Yes, I want to be a doctor, but at what cost? I was so depressed. I feel like if I had a second option, I would have transferred to that second option in second year. So I remember when I was doing first year, I was preparing for my final exam in this lab, or in this computer lab, and I saw this guy. I think he came up to me, he saw me, like, you know, studying, I think opening up first year content, and he came to me. He's like, "Hi, you're doing medicine?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing medicine." He's like, "What year are you?" And I was like, "First year." And then I asked him, "What year are you?" He's like, "It's my 8th year, but I'm doing my 5th year." I was like, "What do you mean?" You know, because I was doing first year, the thing of people failing or repeating a year was not a thing for me, because I mean, I've never experienced it, you know. So he was like, I failed first year, had to repeat first year, and I had to repeat second year twice. This is my 8th year in medical school, but I'm on my 5th year, and I hope I'm gonna graduate next year on my 6th year. I was like, wow. And I think that changed the way I look at things, because to me, failing was a disgrace. It was not an option. Like, I didn't look, like, honestly, I don't know, like, to me it was like, if you fail, you failed. Just, if you failed, you failed. It means give up, you know. But to hear him saying that he literally failed 3 times in medical school, but he is still continuing, big ups to him. And if he's watching this video, thank you so much for literally changing my life. I don't remember his name, and I think he ended up graduating the following year, but damn, I thought to myself, if he could do it, I can, you know. And even though I still had hope that I was gonna pass the year and I was gonna move on, but there was a thing in me that was telling me, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay to fail, you can try again, it is normal, you know, that kind of thing. So now come to my 3rd assessment, which was in September. I was so determined. We had this exam, I think it was weighing 15%. I needed to pass this exam. I needed to make up for these marks that I've been losing. And I remember going to a course convener, I won't mention his or her name. I went there desperate, and I was begging to be exempted from attending some of the group sessions or group tutorials, because some of them, they didn't benefit me. Because number one, sometimes I would be so behind. They would be discussing work from this case while I'm still trying to finish the previous case, so I'd be sitting there in awe, like nodding at people who are ahead or keeping up with their work while I'm behind and struggling. So I thought to myself, why don't I just use this time to sit down and catch up? And even in high school, I've been a student that was able to, like, teach herself the content. I did not work well with being told what to do at what time. So already, if you're gonna take like half of my day, I do not have that much time to do self-study. And to me, that was the most difficult thing. Imagining having to start school at 8 and finishing at 5, and those things were compulsory to attend. This lady told me, darling, if all your peers have the same 24 hours as you, they attend the same academical activities as you, and they're still able to perform well, I don't see a reason why can't you. I cried. I broke down. I forgot whether it was in front of her or I literally just stood up and I was crying on my way out, but I cried. Guys, we might be in the same class, but we experience med school differently. We are from different backgrounds. We go to different places after school. You drive your own car, I have to wait for a journey. I stay at rest, you stay at your own apartment. You have extra resources I don't have. Your brother is doing like some 6th year in med school. He sends you resources. I don't have a brother. I'm the first one to do a medical degree in my family. Don't compare me with my peers. And we definitely don't have the same 24 hours. Please, I don't want to hear that from anyone. The challenges that we face are different. I mean, some people, their parents are already doctors, so they are able to like teach you some of the concepts. I can name reasons and reasons why you shouldn't compare me with my classmate, especially if I'm there begging that I cannot do it, and you tell me that if others can do it, so are you, and you see me that I've been failing up until now. So I went back and I literally had to come up with a strategy, which was sleepless nights. Now I had to literally sleep in libraries trying to study. I had to, you know, go to study like at 8, come back at 3 a.m. You know, it was difficult because I didn't have time to study during the day, so I had to stay up at night to study. I wrote that assessment and I got the same results. I was shattered. And I remember, yes, there were 2 course conveners. I went to one and this one told me blank. It was like, look at how you have been performing. Do you think it is possible for you to pass? I was sitting there, I was like, definitely I trust myself. You know, I still have an assessment that is weighing 15%. I still have an assessment that is weighing, our final exam was weighing like 40%. So definitely I can pass this year. He was like, oh my dear, I don't think so. And you know, I came out with the mentality that I want to prove these people wrong. I want to, you know, do the best that I can. But the best that I could do was still not enough. So now we continued with like case 11 to 14, and then we had to write our final exam, and our final exam had content from case 3, which was like since March, till case 14, which was like November. And imagine how hard that was. And that exam was weighing 40%. I needed about 20% to pass. That is 50% after reduction. Remember, our pass mark was 65%, so which means that I needed 65% reduced as 50%. And given that I've never gotten a 50%, which is a pass, before in any of my exams, how was I gonna get this 50% for this big exam? And I think that was the time my mental health hit rock bottom. I was a person full of anxiety. I was depressed, locked up in my room. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a life. I felt like I didn't belong there. I wanted to quit. I wanted to go home. I don't know. And luckily I never, you know, felt like hurting myself, of which I still thank God, because honestly they pushed me to my limits in that year. And then I went to write that exam. You know, I still was so positive. I fought till the very end, which every exam I literally calculated that, okay, I need to get these amount of marks and I need to get these amount of marks, you know, like the bare minimum for me to pass. And there was this exam where I think I calculated that I need to get this bare minimum in order for me to like pass overall, and the exam went very bad, to a point where I couldn't even finish the exam because of time. And that's when I broke down. I broke down in tears. Remember, I'm breaking down, I have an exam tomorrow. I broke down in tears. My mom tried calling me like 10 times, calling security, calling UCT numbers. I didn't pick up. I was I was sobbing, you know. I was sobbing, I was crying, because now it clicked into my head that you are failing. This is your first time failing. You are gonna repeat second year. And I remember I picked my mom's call and I was just quiet, and she was talking, you know, trying to be positive. She was definitely so scared, you know, because I mean, I would tell her every time there's a student that took his or her own life in our class and stuff like that. So she knew about it, you know. She knew about how hard the degree was, so she thought I could, you know, go through the same thing. Even though I was literally in that dark hole, I never felt like, you know, taking my life. You know, I would rather just sleep and not go write the exam than to take my own life, and I definitely thank God for that. So obviously I picked up that call. It was like, she was like so positive. Okay, you still have 2 exams to go, you can do this, blah blah blah. You know, she helped me do some calculations. Eventually, you know, I got better, I got a bit positive, and I went to write those exams. But still in my mind, I knew and I had accepted that I had failed in the year. And I went back home during the holidays, and I think my mom also like kind of like accepted it, that yeah, she's gonna repeat the year, of which it helped me a lot because she was so positive, she was so supportive, you know. She never really like kind of like judged me and said you're playing at school, blah 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 blah. Why, you know, she never had like high expectations for me. She still doesn't, you know. If I get a 50%, she's like, yeah, I'm glad you passed. If I fail, she's like, okay, you can try again, you know. And to me, that meant a lot. So I remember it was during the holidays in December, and I received a call from our course convener. So they did this thing of calling you if you failed. They literally had a day that we are calling people who have failed. If 5 p.m. hits and we haven't called you, you've passed. That was so traumatic. But I think it was around 3 and I got a call, and she was like, hi, this is Andy. So I was like, yes, it's her. So unfortunately you have failed at this course, you have to repeat the year, blah 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 blah. I mean, even though I knew it, but at that moment my heart just sank. I kind of had like tears in my eyes, but I didn't really cry because I cried a lot about it before. I had to carry on like life was normal. I had my siblings around, my niece around, you know, life had to carry on normal. I had to do the cooking, the dishes, it just had to carry on normal. And I remember coming across my mom down the passage, and she asked me, how did the results go? And I was like, she was like, it's okay. And that was literally the conversation. I didn't want to talk about it. Oh my god, why am I crying on camera? I'm not gonna cry, this is not on brand. I didn't want to talk about it. Obviously, like, she kind of like unpacked it each and every day. She's like, okay, how are you feeling? It's like, okay, it's better you passed the other course. Like, I passed becoming a doctor. So you know, the languages, family medicine, clinical skills, I did pass that. And then this course, obviously I did fail. So when I repeated the year, I had to repeat that course only. She was like, yeah, no, it's better now, you're gonna be doing one course, you're gonna have like more time in your hand to do this thing. So she was really, really supportive, but it was literally the most difficult experience ever. So for me, this has been the hardest thing to share on social media, because number one, I didn't want it to be like the key element when it comes to my journey, you know. I didn't want, you know, those people who start YouTube channels, with a story that they failed at something, they dropped out at school, you know, and then that becomes your story. Like every time they look at you, they see that person who failed, or they see that person who dropped out. I didn't want that to be my brainchild. I wanted you to see me as a product of excellence, product of hard work, product of perseverance. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I want you to see me and see positivity, and not like, oh my god, I don't want to be like her, oh my god, I don't want to go through the same thing as she went. I don't want that. And I don't want, you know, people to all of a sudden start feeling sorry for me or whatsoever. I just wanted to share this for those people who might be going through this right now, or people who are starting second year and about to go through this. Like, you are not alone. I have been there, and look at where we are now. Look at where we are now. You're definitely gonna come out of it, and it's okay sometimes to feel like this is not for you. It's okay sometimes to feel like you're not enough because of how challenging it is. But if this is what you really want, you have to work hard, you have to push through, because the reward is bigger. So for me, my failures don't define me. I'm literally a product of all the challenges that I faced, and I think, you know, it is the reason why I am literally here. You know, I can face anything that I come across because of this experience. But definitely it has affected me in so many ways. I lost like the encouragement, lost the motivation to study. I would feel like I'm not good enough, you know, and I feel like even up until this day, I still, it's still affecting me, you know, because now I am literally in a class with, you know, different people. My peers, or the people that I started medical school with, are now doing final year. And you know, I think about that time to time, you know, when I come across them, and it kind of still affects me, you know. But I try to be positive about this whole experience, and I try to look at it in a positive way, that there are people who couldn't make it to medical school, to get to study medicine to begin with. I am still in this degree. I still stand a chance to be a doctor. You know, I just got delayed a year. I'm still gonna get the degree. There are people who are like 30 years of age or even more. They don't have a matric certificate, but here I am. So I try to look at this in a positive way, that, you know, dreams delayed are not dreams denied. You still have funding. Luckily, my bursary, that's why I love this bursary so much. When I got the bursary and got to sign the contract, they told me that they will fund me for up to 8 years. I didn't understand that up until today, because I was like, this degree is 6 years, why are you going to fund me up until 8 years? I didn't understand that up until that time, and I was like, oh, I am so grateful. They literally paid for all of my fees. I didn't even get an email from them asking me, Andiswa, you are failing, what's wrong? Or you are repeating another thing, what's wrong? They literally just pay for whatever I register for, and I'm so grateful for them. As I've said, I did second year in 2019, and then 2020 was when COVID hit, and for me that was a blessing in disguise, because it means that now I had to repeat second year at home and like do it online, and that was better in so many ways. Number one, I'm not gonna attend lectures, the same lectures I was attending last year over and over again. I felt like if I did this year again in person, I was probably gonna fail the second time, because I still didn't know what else to do. You know, it seemed so impossible. But this time around, I had to do it online. Exams were online. I was around my family, you know, so things were better. The pass mark went back to 50%. Thank God. So things were literally so much better, even though I knew about 20 plus people who were repeating the year with me. Still, it was not easy. So I got to do that year during COVID, and I was able to pass it. So we have come towards the end of the video. My words to you is, if you are coming to med school, you are in high school, or if you are starting your first year this year, or you are starting your second year, stop being hard on yourself. This is medicine. It is hard. Don't expect yourself to perform the same way you did in high school. Stop comparing yourself with others, because there are a lot of things that influence how you perform. It is your background, the high school you went to, your social background, a lot of conditions. Work hard. Work really hard. Med school is not all fun and fancy. You need to push through, you need to persevere, and you need to literally give it your best. Make sure that medicine is really what you want to do before you get into it. Have a second option. Whenever you feel like this is hard, this is costing you your life, please transfer to another degree or another course. Please take care of your mental health. Make sure that you have a good supportive structure. Surround yourself with supportive people, friends who motivate you. And to parents, please support your children. Please do check in with them. How are they doing? How is school? Don't pressure them. Do not pressure them. Don't pressure them to finish a degree in record time, to get distinctions, because you do not know what they're experiencing behind closed doors here in university. You do not know what demons they are facing. It's really hard. I was working in a psychiatric ward last year, and some of the days they would tell us, we are not going in today in that ward because it is full of our classmates or full of people from med school. And you know, you wouldn't want me as a student doctor if we are from med school, so they would stop us, you know, from getting in that day. And it would happen so often that I would realize that, oh my god, a lot of people are really going through a lot, to a point where they get admitted at a psychiatric ward. So this is serious. This is really serious. So support your friends if they're doing medicine. Support them as much as you can. And if you're a parent, make sure that you support your child the best way you can. The last advice I would like to give you is have a life outside med school. I know this is hard, but it can be just a shift in the mindset. You know, don't make med school your all. Don't make medical school like your whole life. Let it be part of your life, because I've realized that if you make a thing your life, if you fail in that thing, you feel like your whole life has failed. You feel like you do not have anything to live for. Try by all means to have a certain interest or a hobby or something else outside of medicine that you can look at and be like, okay, I'm failing in med school, but at least I have something else to live for. So we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching up until this far. I hope you found this video insightful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. On the next episode, I'm going to be reacting to my 4th year results. So if you want to know how I performed in 4th year, make sure that you hit the notification button so that you'll be notified every time I post a video, so that you do not miss anything.